What's up, rockers all across the fucking world? Finally here. It's taken me forever. They've been like delaying everything. Allegedly. It's kind of like the dragons from Game of Thrones. They're coming. Eventually, they were coming. But now they're finally here. I finally got them. And I got the pretty hair, too, of Whiskey and the Wolves. And we have whiskey as well. It's only fitting.
Only fitting. Cheers.
Cool. Baker's 46. Give me some money. Thank you. Anyways. Whiskey and the Wolves, Observatory.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Yep. Sold out show, man. It's crazy. First show 2023. First show in 11 months. So
yeah, first because literally it was a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Your last official show.
Yep.
With Graves and the Bad Weather, which they're playing tonight, headlining with them as well.
Great people.
In Santa Monica. So that was literally come up on a year ago.
It was.
Which was a great show there too. Killer sound. Awesome venue.
Yep.
Yeah, for the spot, that is a great fucking venue.
Yeah, Harvell, Santa Monica. Check it out. That's a great little spot.
And great whiskey selection, actually. I was surprised.
Yeah.
But I did not like their whole fashion. They gave me 4 rocks on my whole fashion. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
It's a snow cone.
I'm like, dude, no. They actually gave it back. They took it back and gave me something else. I'm like, thank you. But shit, dude, 2023, first year, and a sold-out show.
Yeah.
What a fucking way to start it.
Well, I think it's a combination of just playing with, one, we're playing in Orange County. 2, we're playing with pretty much all Orange County bands. Well, I think Graves could probably pull off Orange County. They play a lot.
Yeah, it's like
they're not.
You're a SoCal band.
Yeah, it's all SoCal bands, and it's just a nice. I think it's just a nice draw for the locals, and there's a lot of people that haven't seen us for a while and have heard about all the new songs that we've been working on and stuff. So I think it just kind of piqued the interest a little bit. So.
And then you guys did I think it was back in December. That little pop-up shindig of all covers, which was cool as fuck.
So that was, so our keyboardist, he works at a brewery.
Green Cheek, great brewery.
Green Cheeks, great beer. Great seltzies. It's a seltzer. So they got a great seltzer.
Great seltzer.
But yeah, they we did a little Christmas show and did all covers, which we've never done before.
So you saw the rare elusive Whiskey and the Wolves cover.
You
can't fucking agree on which one to do most of the time.
That was a forced hand of covers for sure.
They had Benny and the Jets for weeks after that.
That's I'm still saying that should be thrown in the rotation. Great Elton John. Not many people can pull off an Elton John cover. You guys can pull it off. I'm just saying.
I think after talking to you tonight, everybody's like, yeah, we're just gonna. And
you get to come out with a Dodgers uniform, all sparkly.
Right. But yeah, it's. I don't know. It was a good Christmas show. It was a lot of fun at the brewery. They sold a lot of beers. We sold out all the food trucks. So it was,
before the show even started.
Before the show even started. So that was pretty sick. So the food trucks had basically no purpose there, but. It was all Laser's idea. He put on a great show while he was literally working that night too. It was bananas. So, yeah, props to him for that one.
Well, shit, going into now this whatever. What was 2022 like for you guys? Like
writing, lots of writing. So it's basically because I know you like to call them the forever demos, but essentially we had a record that was for the most part done. Kind of like as COVID was about to kick off and make lives fun, and then so we didn't really do much for like a year, but the 2022 I think we spent essentially rewriting the record, so that's why it took so long. But I think it gave us time to think and kind of focus more on our songwriting, and I think it gave us more scope for the songs, and honestly, I think we benefited from the time, and quite honestly, we benefited from the turmoil.
I was going to say, absolute frustration.
So it's when you, speaking of, there's a guitar player, a wild guitar player appears.
Yeah, that's good.
So,
we were told to ask you all the questions.
Yeah. He's not allowed to talk.
I'm Peter when I'm quiet. You're right, Sophia Richie. I remember that shit from high school.
No, I'll have to say, though, from the soundtrack and everything else, he has a killer tone.
Great
fucking tone.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's it gave us time to just think about. Oh, now he's gone. It gave us time to really think the songs through, and it was written completely different than our first record. So I don't know, it was a whole new experience. I think we grew a lot, and it was very, very painful to grow that much.
No lubricant either. Very painful.
It was literally that. It was just a raw, dirty fucking year and a half.
You literally refer to Adam as sandpaper.
Yeah.
He writes fucking everything.
Yeah.
He just, yeah.
Adam is literally sandpaper. It's literally Mikey brings in a song, and Adam just grinds it to a pulp, and then
He tells me shit for about 3 weeks.
oh
and
my
then-
god, yeah.
So,
but now it works. So
is there going to be any new material tonight?
yeah, the majority of it will be new.
Oh crap! All right.
I think we're playing 3 or 4 songs off of Fenrir, and the rest is all going to be off the record that's not out yet. So
Is there going to be a new single release from these new
So,
songs that you guys are playing tonight?
we had planned studio time for the single, and unforeseen circumstances occurred, and so that studio is no longer a viable studio.
Was it the one that burned down recently?
It didn't burn down, but I don't want to give out names because
Okay.
it hasn't been
Yeah.
announced yet. But long story short, I talked to the owner. We were going to go do a single, and now that's not an option. So we're trying to. Realistically, we're probably going to try to go back to 606 again, where we did Fenrir, which is the Dave Grohl's studio. If we can get in, it's been 3 years since we've been there, so we'll see. But that's kind of the big uphill battle is just finding. We lost our engineer too, so finding a new engineer, maybe a producer, and then finding a place to fucking record it. So we have the record done, and we have a single plan. It's just getting it on paper and then
Getting it actually mastered
Yeah.
and finished.
yeah. So that's the issue. That's a drummer sneezing in the background. Good job, buddy.
Well, it's a perfect way, I guess, segue to Fenrir 2019.
Yep.
Your release, like that was.
So it was a good release show at the Troubadour. It was a great night. Sold a lot of records. I think
I saw you guys for your maybe third or second show that year after that release. That's when I first found you guys at that was the Rockers Ball.
the Rockers Ball, Bar
Yeah.
Sinister. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was good. That was a passion project. I mean, like I said, how we recorded that one is very kind of different than what most people do. So, I mean, we recorded the whole thing in 3 days, and then just did some ad-lib stuff later on. But I would say 90 to 95% of that record is live.
Dang. So, yeah, 3 days. Only,
Yeah.
That's pretty
So it was
good,
one
man.
day at a studio that's no longer open called Grandmaster Recorders, which look that up and you'll see some fucking amazing records were done there. Crazy spot. Great spot. Love that place.
There's actually holes in the wall, or there was. This place tore down now where Tool took a shotgun to a piano. And they were recording all this shit. So
Yeah.
it's on one of the
They
records.
shot a piano full of.
That was one of the first things
buckshot.
they showed you. Here, see this hole
Yeah.
here?
It
Yeah,
was
great. Maynard did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great. Yeah, they did great records there. I mean, there was a lot of like Queens of the Stone Age and Black Keys were there.
So why did they go
was
under?
there. So they got bought out by all that fucking those people in Hollywood that are buying all the studios and turning them into goddamn apartment buildings or whatever. So I think they turned it into a restaurant called Grandmaster Recorders still, but it's obviously still
That's
a studio,
yeah. So,
But,
so it's a hipster spot for expensive people.
basically.
Yeah.
So I mean, the place looks cool. They still do some music there, but it's we were there for a day, did 4 tracks in one day, all live again, and then went back to finish the other 8, and they were out of business.
Damn.
And because they were out of business, we had to find a place. So I don't know if you know what a Neve board is.
Mm-mm.
So it's a guy named Rupert Neve. He made all these crazy soundboards, and it's kind of like a specialty thing. Have a very specific sound. And there's basically like 3 places that have this soundboard. It was Grandmaster Recorders, this other place called Steakhouse Studios, which I recorded at with my last band, and just kind of like whatever. But the third spot was fucking 606, and Dave Grohl, because he bought it from, was it Sunset Sound or something like that, back when they closed?
Sound City.
Sound City,
Yeah,
one of
so
them.
like that.
It's a documentary that Dave Grohl did, literally, of him bringing the soundboard to his house, rebuilding it from the ground up, making it perfect, and puts it in his new spot. And so we're like, so we either have to re-record these 4 tracks because it won't make sense if we do it somewhere else, or we have to find a board. Luckily, I had a dude that I was in another band at the time with who knew a connection at 606, and they were like, yeah, come on in, we'll give you 2 days. We booked 2 days, then we got bumped because 9 Inch Nails needed to record.
Damn.
So
Nice.
we were gonna.
You guys have been in some studios with some big names.
We were gonna do
there.
like a Thursday, Friday, and then they're like, "Hey, we got to bump you to like Tuesday, Wednesday."
Like, hey,
what
Trent
the
Reznor,
fuck?
you want to do a guest feature?
And it's
What's
because
up?
Trent Reznor was literally renting out the place for 2 days. I'm like, "Fuck, okay, whatever."
Shout
Trent
out
Reznor.
9 Inch Nails. Man.
Shout out Trent Reznor for fucking bumping me. Bro. So, anyways, we had to do the rest of it there. Did 2 days there, and then just did everything else by ourselves going forward. And this time around, it's gonna have to probably be a little bit different, and because like you're saying, music industry is a little bit different, so you've got to probably record them more in like singles rather than trying to put out a fucking 70-minute record and expect people to.
You don't want to have a Freebird 30-minute solo?
Well, that's the problem, man. It's like that's like kind of the biggest thing I think is we wrote really long songs back for that record, and it's fun. It's fun to do live, but you got to take into account the audience these days, and they probably don't want to listen to a fucking 7-minute song, right? Graves and the Bad Weather make an appearance. We're Bogart in the green room for 5 minutes.
Song that long for you guys? Fuck no.
We opened the record with an 8-minute long song, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good way of doing it now. Like, there's a nice, I would say, almost modern rock, classic rock revival with Greta Van Fleet's Joyous Wolf, Måneskin,
Måneskin.
yeah. Foreskin,
Måneskin.
however you want to pronounce them. But there's a nice revival. Dirty Honey.
Dirty Honey's great.
Yeah. So
that fucking singer is
monster.
absolute
Monster. When I saw them open for the Black Crows, and that was gnarly at the Forum. Killer.
A strange little note that I know about that guy, I think his name's Mark. He's actually best friends with this actor named Taylor Kitsch, who played Tim Riggins on Friday Night Lights.
No way.
They're like best buddies,
shit.
and they like play hockey and go hiking and shit. And I'm like such a fanboy for Taylor Kitsch in Friday Night Lights. So I followed him, and I saw they were friends, and I'm like, oh man, I just want to be friends with these guys so bad.
Anyway, he can bring that fucking show. And
I know.
Shout out if you guys need
Shout out
a
Friday
opening
Night
band,
Lights.
Woo!
opening act.
Let's go. We'd fit well with those dudes. I'm just saying.
But you guys are fitting well into this whole new revival. And do you
There's
think
a lot of good rock and roll coming out.
Do you think this is part of that kind of renaissance coming full circle? People were tired of the.
Well, I mean, it's with anything, fashion, music, just anything you do, it's cyclical. So you have, we're on that 20-year mark now where the fucking late 90s, early 2000s when rock and roll was kind of a big deal. And now people are like, oh yeah, rock and roll. Remember that? That was fun. So everybody's wearing fucking Pearl Jam shirts and Nirvana shirts and listening to grunge and listening, that'll get them down the fucking well to classic rock and Zeppelin and unfortunately Greta Van Fleet or whatever. Listen, don't get me wrong. Listen, those cats can play.
Those are fighting words, man.
They are, man. Listen, I think
they're gonna have an army of girls swarming you, dude.
I know. Look, I don't dislike them. It's just so close to Led Zeppelin that it's hard to be like a true fan when you've been a fan of Zeppelin for
so long. Yeah.
Like Robert
It is
Plant.
encouraging though to see.
It's
rock
encouraging.
and roll
Yeah.
becoming like
what
when I say pop music, I don't mean like pop. I mean like popular music.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, it
Mainstream,
Yeah.
selling out shows, stadium arenas.
Like it breaks my heart that Rival Sons has to open for them. And I'm like, are you kidding me, bro? Like Jay Buchanan should not open for literally anybody alive. But that's just that's another man crush I have. So whatever. It's the world we live in.
But you guys are part of this now.
Yeah.
Great kick or revival, and essentially, but do you think they'll, even though there's a nice organic revival to it, do you think this is going to finally be picked up on mainstream Spotify, Apple Music, fucking this mainstream charts, or is it going to still stay organic in the way it's going?
I personally don't think we'll ever have rock bands the way that we did in like the 60s and 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll really have artists like that anymore.
Well, even now, there's very few.
There's very few big artists. I mean, it's what's that Mexican cat?
Mexican cat.
He's like a DJ or some shit. Huh?
Who? Oh, Bad Bunny?
Bad Bunny. Like, that's all. That's like in Southern California, that's the only thing people talk about is fucking Bad Bunny. So I don't know that we're ever going to say, have a fucking Greta Van Fleet or a Dirty Honey or Whiskey in the Wolves or Grapes in the Bad Weather that's going to get as big as like a Bad Bunny. Because I think that we're at a place where people don't really want to necessarily listen actively as much as they listen passively.
Gotcha.
They listen to party, they don't listen to find meaning.
I think rock and roll's always been an album genre.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You sit down and listen to an
Like
entire
an
record
album, right,
because
yeah.
it tells a story, right? And it's like, it's really hard to do that in today's,
Which is-
where everything is very single
Which was
driven,
our
video
mistake
driven,
in the first
yeah.
record, was literally like hoping, hey, here's 12 songs recorded live, 70 minutes long. They're fucking transitions between every track, planned,
And we release it all at once.
And we release it all at once.
I liked it.
Thank you,
I
Andrea.
listened to it
Thank
all.
you. I need your help with makeup after.
I got you.
Okay. But it's, I think the hard pill for us to swallow is going to be releasing singles and not releasing an album. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, like, I'm old school. I don't really like EPs. I like records. If you give me something that has like...
I remember back in the day, singles were actually like 3 songs
Right.
on a CD or a tape.
Mm-hmm.
Not one song, that was a single, but now it would be considered an EP.
It's just, to me, I'm like, and I would rather release a few singles, like, put out 3 songs and then put out the record, like, like if there's a plan, it makes sense. Like if you look at a band like Nothing But Thieves, they put out a 4-song EP, then another 4-song EP, but then release it all as a record with other stuff on it.
Yeah, actually.
And to me, that was probably the best record that's come out in the last like 3 years.
Yeah.
But it's hard to plan that because you have to have the songs, and it's hard not to release them when you have them because you want everybody to hear your shit.
Yeah.
It's a wire we walk, and then we have to play it by ear. And it's like Mikey said, it's rock and roll's very album driven, and we like it that way. But that's not the world we live in anymore.
But it's safe to say it's rock and roll though has the best fan base. Because when you are a fan of rock and roll, you have a diehard fan.
There's been people that have been listening to us for like 4 or 5 years, and it's like we haven't really even given them anything that new. So it's kudos to them. So either they really like
We
it.
might like records, but we're going to put a single out just to keep them alive,
Yeah.
give them a bone to chew on.
Yeah.
It's going to happen this year for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I guess a good way is to do a time capsule then. Let's talk about the history of Whiskey and the Wolves. Like where the name came from, how'd the band start? Was it because someone had a bender and they just killed a bottle of bullet? Or, I mean,
Yes.
That's too far.
Not too far. Long story
like
short.
Whiskey
yeah.
Wolves, that's the name.
It basically happened at a time. So Mikey had just moved out to California. We're both from Minnesota. Small towns. My hometown's 300. His is like $150. Like not
It's a
thousand.
village.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a village.
People,
Like small town. So
Which I found out after going to tour, there is actually villages still
Mhm.
in America.
there it is.
So it's called like villages of whatever. And I'm like,
Mhm.
what?
So we moved. I've been out here for a while. He moved out after me, and we were both kind of in limbo musically. Mikey hadn't been in a band for a while. He decided to like go to college and get his master's and be a fucking brainiac dude.
Waste of time.
And now he's in a band.
And now he's in a band. So don't go to school. Start a rock band. So he comes out. We're living together. We're just kind of getting through life. And my birthday happens. We get super drunk. We decide, we should probably, try jam. See what happens. Nothing happens. We don't do anything. But then that summer, my other buddy, who I had originally moved to California with, comes out for a wedding. And he's like, hey, let's get together. And I'm like, this is a perfect opportunity. So Mikey had some riffs, and we just rented out a room at Bomb Shelter Studios and just rented out 3
It was
hours.
the first bottle of bullet bourbon I'd ever purchased.
Yep.
And I brought it to that jam session. And you say I had riffs. I wrote that riff About an hour before we walked into that.
That was the funny thing is Mikey had riffs, and we were about to leave for the studio, and he starts fucking playing. He's like, "What do you think of this thing?" And I was like, "But we decided this other fucking thing." So then we went. Long story short, we took the very first bottle of Bullet Bourbon. Would love a sponsor, by the way.
Shout out.
Our favorite whiskey. It's always in our studio. So we took a bottle in, 3 dudes. We wrote one song called Saint Memory. It's the first song we wrote as a band, and we got the name of Whiskey and the Wolves from the lyrics of that song.
Damn.
And then like 2 nights later, I drew this fucking shitty wolf head. Gave it to
It's their merch now, by the way.
Gave it to his. Well, not that one. That one was ass, and I gave it to his lady, who was a fucking impeccable artist. And I said, "This is what I'm looking for." She did like 5 designs in like 10 minutes, and there it is. That's it. That's what we want. And then now we have that design. So basically, the band started by accident. It was going to be me and Mikey playing acoustic shit at Starbucks, and then all of a sudden,
With man buns.
yeah, 100%. And then we were like, what would happen if we added people, and we were just gonna do like pedal steel and like a stand-up bass, and we had this whole idea. And then fucking Rosie showed up on drums, and Adam shows up, and Laser shows up, and we're like,
We got a
fuck,
fucking
we're
band.
a fucking rock band. So-
do the songs justice. It's like, yeah.
And then once we played them with the full band, we're like, yeah, we can't do this acoustically. So yeah, Rosie came in, played a weird song that we had, and played it perfectly. He was the only drummer that auditioned that was able to do it. And then Adam came in, and he's Adam, so like automatically. And Laser, ironically, auditioned at guitar. Showed up late with a bloody nose. Had a fucking towel hanging out of his nose, again at Bomb Shelter Studios. Like, you okay, man? He's like, yeah, I got this. And then I got drunk with him in the parking lot that night, and I peed in front of a cop. He didn't do anything, which was great. And then I was like, hey, man, like, is there anything else you can do? Because I don't think the guitar thing is going to work. We don't need 3 guitar players, right? And he's like, I played piano my entire life for church. And I was like, duh. So, and now that's how we're a band.
No lineup changes. Oh.
No, just additions, and we haven't had a bass player. That's the only thing.
We've gone through some phases. But
Yeah. There was we had a bass player initially. He was a great dude, great songs, but he moved to like San Diego or something and quit. So.
And that was before Laser.
And that was before the other 2 dudes.
So yeah, it's like we figure we're like at version 3.0 at this point.
Yeah.
But still, you roughly still have the original people that you guys had all trying out for.
It hasn't changed since 2016, I think. Been the same.
That's when it kind of kicked off, and we had these
5
songs.
fucking assholes.
You grew up from Starbucks coffee shop to a whiskey band. No, well, that's I guess the most organic way you can do it, and you guys are still.
It was so organic because we didn't even plan for it, and that's why.
Straight up Craigslist band.
It's like literally.
Everything was Craigslist.
I mean, that's how you used to find bands back in the day.
It was all Craigslist, and then now we're literally like best friends, and it's fucking random as fuck. So.
And now starting off 2023 with a sold out show.
Yeah, we got sold out show. Thank God for Graves and putting it on and let us come. Thank you, Peaches.
Love you guys.
And then so it's just been a good time, and it's a good start to the year, and hopefully people like our new shit.
Well, I have no doubts. It's always been a great show, no matter what you guys played. Everyone I've even taken to one of your shows, everyone's just blown away because you guys are sounding much better. Nothing just to service to your records, but on live is where you fucking shine.
Yeah,
That's where you fucking shine.
I'm trying to bridge that gap.
But it's a good problem to have.
Yeah,
because there's plenty of people that fucking suck live.
Yeah, I'd rather be this way than the other way around.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a good problem to have because
thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
But so stoked to see where everything else. Hopefully, the Forever demo will come to the singles.
Forever demo. Can you just name the next record? Though?
Yeah, Forever demo.
Fuck, I'm not talking.
Oh, just Forever.
I'm not talking about albums. That's been another goddamn fight.
6 EPs.
6 EPs. 2 songs at a time.
Exactly. Then paste it together and then have 2 extra songs.
Yeah.
It'll be 12 songs total. That's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, marketing. No, it's stoked. It's going to be fucking killer. It's going to be an amazing show. Everyone's going to play amazing. You're going to crowd surf. You're going to get blacked out drunk. And it's going to be a killer for a show of the year.
I might pee myself.
That's fine. It'll be on camera. I'll record it. Put it on TikTok.
Cheers, brother. Thank you.
I'll have this all uploaded. All their links, Spotify, Tidal. What's the new ones they have? They have so many now streaming things. Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple Music. There's
I
like,
listen to everything in 8 tracks.
there's another one too besides Tidal.
Really?
Yeah, there's another one that it
What
just.
the fuck?
I'm like, dude, just stop. Let's keep it to the basic streaming
Another
platform.
company that's not paying artists.
It's
for
good.
streaming.
You're gonna, now you guys are gonna you're gonna get an extra 2 cents. It's, you know.
Oh,
2
great.
cents.
Awesome.
0.0003 cents per spin, bitch.
That's a whole other argument, a whole other discussion.
That is.
But I'll have everything tagged, Facebook, all their dating apps that they're on, so you can swipe on
Hashtag grinder.
them. So give them a listen, but everything else, keep the horns up and some bourbon.